Hello, AP Lit class and Mr. McCaw. I have no idea of how to intro a video, I'm gonna be honest with you. So honestly, I guess we can just get into it. So hi, my name is Yesenia, and for my senior project, I chose to find a will to live. That sounds super dark, so there's an alternative title to it, and the alternative title is I choose to become better. Better person, better, like, I don't know, in general, just a better person. When choosing my topic, the main things that I struggled with were finding things that I was good at, finding things that I was passionate about, because I'm lazy and I have nothing more to say about that really. So then I was like, I guess my alternative is to look for something that I've always wanted to do. So there's a lot of stuff that I've always wanted to do, you know, like, I don't know, get another cat. My idea was to get another cat, honestly, like adopting a cat, because I already have one. But I said that idea and then my dad immediately shut it down, so we're not getting another cat. I wanted to make food for this project. I wanted to like try something out there. And I was having a conversation with some of my fellow classmates. The topic of making jokes came around saying things such as all the things I hate and stuff like that. And it suddenly hit me. I was like, I could make a project about, you know, changing my ways of life and becoming a better person. So that is basically the goal of this project. And the good thing about it is that while I chose the topic way late, I actually unconsciously started this project months ago. And I will get into that later on how I did that. So the first thing I did when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, let's search up, you know, how to get a will to live. Google thought that was really concerning, so it sent me to emergency hotline. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. So then I was like, how to become a better person. And suddenly things started popping up about mental growth, self-growth, and things of that sort. So the ultimate goal of this is to have a glow up. What is a glow up? A glow up is the process of turning yourself into a better version of yourself and becoming more confident, attractive, and successful. So I'm obviously not going to become a better person in like a few weeks, a few months. You know, it's like self-growth over time. But there's things about myself that I think if I fix that, I think I would be stressed way less. I think I would be a little bit more easy, like, going. I think I would be a little more relaxed if I did things like this. So it's mostly to help my mental state. And I've always wanted to get into, like, you know, focusing on my mental health and really learning about how to take care of myself properly. But high school is really difficult and I just didn't do it. So this is my excuse to really focus on it because it's a project now. When I was going into this, I told you I searched some stuff up on Google. I found a bunch of blogs, research psychological reasons as to why people are a certain way and things that aided them in becoming better. And I watched a few YouTube videos about glow ups or people who just wanted to talk about how they bettered themselves and how they turned out to like feel better about themselves, which is the ultimate goal of this, to feel better about myself. I took what I saw in common from each source and I pulled it together into one list. One 10-bullet list of things you can do with me at home to become a better person. Hooray! I numbered these items 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest and 10 being the hardest of things that I think I could do. I will say this starts very lighthearted and it can turn a bit down real quick. So come experience this with me. Number 1, identify your weaknesses. This was the easiest thing I could probably do. And I realized that when you talk about your weaknesses, it can seem a little like self-deprecating, unconfident, sad, very mood ruining. But I kind of looked at it as a moment to really reflect on the kind of person that I am right now and the things that I would like to work on in the future. And, you know, basing off of these things is what the rest of my list is going to help me with. I chose 5 things about myself. There's probably way more, but I chose 5 things about myself that I thought that I could work on, that this project could help me fix, or I don't know, correct. Let's say correct. Correct is a nice term. Number 1, I am negative. I'm more of a the cup is half empty kind of person. Definitely need a more open mind, a more happy outlook on life. Number 2, self-critical. I criticize myself a little too much, and I get really stressed out, like when I don't think I'm doing how I'm supposed to be doing. Hold on, it's like super hot. So I criticize myself way too much, and I end up being really critical about other people, so that comes out to number 3, judgmental. I criticize just about anything. I'm a hater at heart. I love judging. I love saying my little opinion and, you know, speaking it into the air. And maybe that's not a good thing, so we should probably fix that. Number 4, I'm indecisive. I was indecisive about what topic to pick for my project, which shouldn't have been that hard, I think. I'm indecisive about what I want to eat. Like, you know, there's just some things wrong. I should just learn how to move past it. Maybe it's not that deep. I shouldn't spend so much time figuring this stuff out. And number 5, just like this project, procrastination. I left this all till the end. I mean, okay, I gave myself a good amount of time, but still, I could have gotten done a lot more if I would have started a little earlier. So we gotta fix that. All right, number 2 on the list, set goals. Goals for this project. What do I want the outcome of this? We already touched on a little bit, but I'm just gonna state some of it. My goal is to have a mental kind of glow up, self-growth, learning a bit more about myself and what kind of things will help me in my self-growth journey, and basically becoming better. After 1 and 2 are done, those are kind of like the easy win to it stages. Number 3 is where you actually start getting work done. Number 3, write in a journal. This one is super cheesy, I know. Everyone's like, oh my god, write in a journal? Oh my god, my feelings down. Can't believe I'm doing this. I wasn't gonna put this one in because I don't personally agree with the writing in the journal. It can help people, not for me, and I didn't even want to attempt it. But the reason why I added it to my list was because then I read in a specific article is that when you are writing in a journal, you aren't supposed to have expectations for yourself. So I'm not gonna go into writing in my journal and say, I'm gonna write 5 paragraphs worth of emotions and I'm talking about my day in complete detail. The only goal I had for writing in my journal was writing something each day. Something, just something. It didn't have to be long, short. There was no expectation for how much or what I had to write, just something about the day. So when I came across the journal one, I told my mom, come with me to Target and let's go pick out a fun little journal. And I decided to pick something that was just cute. Just had to be like a writing journal, nothing in specific. And I really liked this one, so I kind of just went for it. So you can probably look through it. Sometimes I wrote an easy paragraph. Sometimes, you know, it was kind of empty, got a little longer. You know, it could get pretty long, pretty medium. None of it was really ever the same. Things were just very different depending on what happened in my day, how much I felt like writing, and it was kind of freeing to not have that feeling of I have to write in the journal. It didn't take much of me. I just had to pull it out, write what I felt in that moment, and it was done. And I honestly really liked writing in my journal. So I'm going to rate this one an 8 out of 10 because I think sometimes it can be annoying, but not having an expectation is what helps. So I do recommend, if you want to start writing in a journal, to have that mindset of going into it, of just being just write something, anything. It could be 1 word, it could be your whole life story into it, but always just write something if you're gonna start a journal. Number 4, try meditation. I combined this one with number 5, which is add movement to your life. While I was at Target with my mom, I asked her to go look at some mats, and we didn't find any mats, like yoga mats. So we went to Ross, and lo and behold, we found a fun little yoga mat. And I decided to combine these two because I could try meditation while doing yoga. So I'm adding movement to my life, and I'm killing another bird with one stone by, you know, focusing a little, give myself some time to relax and really just take a deep breath. That was a lot. Okay. I didn't just do yoga. Some days I actually started adding Pilates into my workout. And let me just say, my body is not meant to move like that. That was crazy. That was insane. I woke up sore times, like really sore, tired. But I will say after the first week, when you repeat workouts, they do get easier. So that is like the perk of that one. However, I found out I'm not a big fan of Pilates or yoga. I find the positions a little uncomfortable. I was not really vibing with it. I rate them a 5 out of 10. Not the worst, not the best. But I figured that moving forward, when I do try to add movement into my life, I'm gonna start walks. Walks sound really fun. I think just walking with no expectation of having to run or anything, just walking is really good for you. So I will be trying to shift myself from this workout to that and continuing the movement in my life. But if you look in the videos, I do not look like I'm having fun. I will admit I didn't film each day, but I filmed most days that I felt like where I looked presentable. But yeah. Number 6, basic self-care. This was where things started getting a little more tricky. It sounds really stupid, I know, but basic self-care, it's strange. So I will name to you the top 4 things of basic self-care, and you tell me if you follow through with all of these. Do you complete all 4 basics of self-care? Number 1, do you get sleep? Do you get your 8 hours of sleep? Didn't think so. Number 2, nutrition. Are you eating what you're supposed to be eating? Are you having breakfast? Are you having lunch, dinner? Are you having healthy snacks? Are you getting protein? Are you getting all the nutrients you're supposed to? No? Okay, yeah, I didn't think so either. Number 3, connection with others. I'm sure we all text each other. I'm sure we all call, we all message, we all talk to each other on a daily, but are you really communicating with people? Are you gonna tell me that when someone upsets you, you immediately tell them that they upset you? Or do you keep it to yourself? Do you really, connect with people? No? Okay. Yeah. Number 4. This one's the one that I do think that made most of us complete. Downtime. I know that a lot of us have busy schedules, but I know that I procrastinate because I love downtime. I love not doing anything. I love literally just sitting around and doing nothing. What I found out about the 4 basics of self-care is that you need balance with all 4. And that is what I did not have. I did not have balance in my life whatsoever. I will let you know right now that I may have failed at this one. I really tried getting 8 hours of sleep every night, and it just was not working out. I don't know why, but I can't force myself to sleep. I tried teas. I don't like tea. I hate tea. Like hot teas, hate it. I'm so sorry, Mr. Macabre, but I hate teas. I tried tiring myself out by doing my workouts before I went to bed, and I just lay there and stare, and I could not go to sleep. So I don't know what's wrong with that one, but I will do some research. I will figure out how to get 8 hours of sleep, because apparently that's really important. As for nutrition, I did not change my diet whatsoever. What I did do, however, was I started having breakfast. Some days, my mom would make these smoothies of fruit smoothies. She would make all natural fruit smoothies with frozen fruit that she has, adding some stuff in there. It was basically all healthy because my mom is super into that kind of stuff, and she was trying to get us into it, and I was like, oh my god, whatever, let's try it out. And they were pretty good. What I also did for breakfast, in case I didn't have a smoothie, is Mr. Gluckman recently got some protein bars in his class, and I would always take a protein bar and a water bottle, and I'd have that as a little breakfast. It's not much, but it's something, and it adds to my health meals, because I don't exactly eat healthy, but it was something. So that's what I kind of changed it up for nutrients. It's not much, but it's a slow process because I'm Mexican and I love Mexican food, and I don't think I could stop eating Mexican food. So number 3, connection with others. What I did with this one was, I think whenever I have the opportunity to talk deeper with people, I take it, because I like those kinds of conversations. I didn't think I struggled with this before, and I still don't think so. I think I do pretty good at it, but I think I should include it a little more in my daily life. So, file for D, downtime. What am I supposed to do with that? Honestly, I just kept going with what I was doing. Really, I literally just did that. That was for the self-care basic needs. I'm not gonna rate this one on how well it helped me, but on how well I did it, because let's be real, I did not exactly do this as I probably should have. So I'm gonna rate myself a 5 out of 10. I kind of got there with like the nutrient and downtime, but with the sleeping connection, I don't think so. Let's move on to number 7, finding motivation. If you are a teenager in our time and day, it's really hard to find things that motivate you to keep studying, to go to college, to keep working hard. For this one, I decided to have an interview with someone who I thought could give me a little insight on working towards finding motivation and keeping myself, working towards something. I chose Mr. Hutch, the local business teacher. Shout out to him, he's an amazing person. I was going to do the AP Psych teacher here on campus because he could probably give me a bit of a rundown on the basics of why these things happen, why we feel this way, things like that. But I kind of settled on Hutch for the reason of back junior year, when he was getting prepared to teach us for senior year, at the end of junior year, he came into our classroom and he talked to us. And he literally sat on the desk, he looked at all of us and he went, okay, just ask me anything about myself and I will be completely honest with you. And he was. I learned so much about him. I learned that he had a lot of businesses, a lot of offers that he had going on for him. He was a very he is a very hardworking man, and he is someone that I found out I looked up to a lot. I also found out is that he came up from an upbringing such as mine. He came up from really struggling in his childhood and, lacking motivation. However, he still made it. He found something that would drive him to keep going. And look at him today. He's really successful. He's someone that I look up to, and I thought this is the perfect guy to interview. So, I'll let him tell us a little bit about that. So my first question to you is, what do you think defines a good person?
I think doing the right thing when no one's looking is kind of my go-to. With human behavior, it's tough to always do the right thing, but in the event you're always thinking about the right thing and always making a conscious effort to do good, I think you're a step ahead of most of society in that regard. So in addition to that, I would say, someone that is selfless, meaning someone that isn't just here for themselves and really want to reach out to help make other people better and the world we live in a better place is a big indicator for me as well.
I've asked a few people that question, and what I find interesting about it is that everyone has a different definition.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's always that one in common thing of doing the right thing when no one's watching. So I take that one into what I learned from this.
Good.
Do you feel content with yourself and your life? Absolutely.
Being content with where you're at is not easy, regardless of where you're at on this spectrum we call life, and where we're at on this idea of success. There's always a pursuit, and honestly, I've struggled with that throughout the years of being content, of not wanting to always want more. And just recently, honestly, within the past year or two, I've really dialed that down a bit to be content. And that took 35 years. So do I still want more? Absolutely. But it's not to the point where it's causing me to change my behaviors, or it's not causing me to throw off the balance of my life, right? So it's whereas before it was negatively impacting me because I was always trying to level up, for lack of better words, or get that next position or more money or the next business idea. And now I'm 100% content with where I'm at.
The answer to my other question is, have you always felt this way?
Oh, I combined it in one. And yeah, no. And I think why I never felt content before, my biggest fear is failure or ending up like my family. So my family's very dysfunctional, like most families, but more than even dysfunctional. They're addicts. They have habits and things that are just terrifying, and they live off government aid and all these things, and they've really become trapped by their decisions and their habits. And it's always been my fear that if I don't continue to succeed or press that envelope forward, that I would fall back into poverty or where I came from. And so here I am now. I don't have that fear anymore, which is nice.
What would you say was your turning point in your life that you decided that it was like time to change and really pursue this idea of success that you have?
Turning points happen a lot in life. So turning points, it's important to recognize it when it happens, and a lot of people don't realize it. For lack of a better word, sometimes they can slap you in the face. You don't realize that's your spot to shine and your time to level up. But it started in the 10th grade for me, a teacher that really pursued the idea of what makes Jacob Hutchison tick. What does he want to do? And it had to do with just really stating some goals and thinking about what I wanted in the future. And I learned a lot from there. And then the military is for sure a turning point. My wife getting pregnant at 19 years old is a turning point and a half. And that really kicked me into overdrive because I wasn't just there for myself or my wife, Chelsea Hutchison. I was there for this little human that I was bringing into the world, and that's a whole different turning point, right? If you allow it to have that positive impact and not look at it as a negative situation. The military throughout's a turning point, and so really I didn't answer your question very well because I don't attribute any one specific thing to being that thing that turned me around and got me out of a situation. Even before possibly that teacher in the 10th grade, in middle school, when I was talking to therapists and things about my childhood and some of the things that have went on in the home environment, that's a turning point too, right? Getting something off your chest when there's nobody else to talk to about it. And all of these it's like a snowball going down a hill. It just builds up steam. And if you follow all of those turning points, you end up with who you're looking at today. Fortunate enough to be able to do this interview with you. So it's, I'm talking to students every day, and I see that they're needing turning points too. And
Right.
Maybe I could help be a turning point. That's kind of where I'm at now.
I know you already touched up on it a little bit because you love answering my questions
Yes, we think alike.
But my question is, what motivates you?
Yeah, so motivation is tricky. Motivation comes in different forms, but my family motivates me the most. I need to make sure that I not only ask of them, what I know they're capable of, but that I lead, and I lead from the front. And at the end of the day, I shouldn't have to say anything. I just let them observe my behaviors, and it's my hope that their observation allows them to learn and grow, pretty much daily, based on how I walk, talk, and act. And that's the crazy part about motivation is, for you it's your ma, for me it's my family that I've created, for the next person it's the sport that they play, and for the next person it's the goal that they have. Motivation is really something that has to be intrinsically set, and there's no textbook that could tell you what motivation is for you. And anything that allows you to become the best version of yourself. Over time, though, your motivation can shift and change. My motivation shifts and changes, but there's always that core to you that's not going to shift or change, and that's family.
This project is going to be watched by the entirety of my AP Lit class. There is about
outstanding
20 of us, maybe.
Okay.
And Mr. John McCaw.
Yes.
So if there's any advice that you'd like to give them now that this is our final project for the class, we're about to go into the real world, if there's any advice you want to give.
Oh, absolutely. The real world is unforgiving. That's not to scare you guys, but that's to get you to understand resilience and to be able to really just work on your confidence. I think from what I see, I teach seniors as well, and there is a lack of self-confidence, and we really have to work on that, and we have to make sure that we're not too hard on ourselves. The last piece of advice I think I have for this class you know, you have to understand the power of networking. You have to understand the power of friendships. And you have to really, you know, put yourself out there, I think, more so than you guys are used to doing. And speak to people that don't necessarily walk, talk, or act like us. And really start to learn about others. And to, when you put yourself out there, you're going to be surprised. You're going to start to learn things not only about yourself, but about others. And then that network and those connections you make are going to be a big part of your future success. It's something I wish someone would have told me when I was younger. I've always been more of an introvert, always been someone that I'll just do it my way.
Me too. Yeah.
I don't need you guys. And I was wrong. I needed a lot of people. And we all do. Going at this thing alone and thinking you're going to get to your best version of yourself alone isn't realistic in my opinion. So something to think about. I can probably keep going for a couple hours. If you guys ever want me to do a cameo and pop in, let me know. I'm full of advice, but at the end of the day, just keep doing what you guys are doing. You've made it this far, and congratulations on your high school graduation. I know that sometimes you guys are like, oh, it's just high school. There's a lot of kids that don't make it, and it's not just high school. It's a big stepping stone, and you know, when you look over at your parents and they're wiping their tears, like it'll hit you. There's more than just it's just high school. It's a big deal. So be proud of this and use this to head on into either college or career, whatever is next for you guys. And I'll see you at graduation.
That was a really long interview, but I didn't want to cut it for the reason that I think the message that he has is really important. And I think a lot of us may hear these words, but we may never really process them or take them seriously. And I think hearing it from him was really changing like my perspective on it. And I thought maybe I should be taking this a little more seriously. I should be trying to keep going and moving forward and finding goals for myself and finding ways to become a better person. Number 7, come out of your shell. Now this is where I say that I unconsciously started this project months ago, because back in December, I want to say, December, November, January-ish, I think in between those 3 months, we were having auditions for our school musical. Now, fun fact about me, I've always been into theater stuff. I thought it was super fun to look at, to admire, and I've actually always wanted to be a part of it. I think my goal since elementary school was I wanted to be part of a play. And the main reason why I never did it was because I was scared. I thought, I can't sing. I'm not a good dancer. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm gonna look stupid up there. And I thought, this is what's keeping me down, you know? This is what's really stopping me from doing things that I want to do and that I want to experience. So what did I do? I auditioned for the school musical and I went in. I was part of the ensemble cast and it was super fun. I'll have some fun little pictures right here, but I had so much fun, you know, with the people that I met there, the people that I got to have this experience with. And in the end, I'm really glad that I did it because I'm very proud of myself for doing that. You know, I never thought in my life that I would build up the courage to go on a stage like that and dance and sing, and it was really fun. So that was something that I did that was super amazing and super fun, and I don't regret doing that one. Rating this one, I think 10 out of 10. Really enjoyed this one, and I think I should go out and do more stuff that I think I can't do, because turns out I probably can do it. So, number 9, allow room for growth and failure. You may be wondering why I put this one at number 9 in difficulty. In the moment, I was like, I don't see how this one could be so difficult. But I think human nature is really giving ourselves a hard time when we fail. I think I failed a few times in this. As you can see, I didn't do things properly, but I think the way I changed my mindset was by looking at the things that I failed at and finding alternatives so that I could work on them. For example, I failed at yoga, I failed at Pilates, I did not like it, but I found an alternative, and instead I'm going to start walking because walking sounds more enjoyable for me and it's still keeping me moving. I think this one was just not exactly a thing to do, but a reminder. Number 10, forgive yourself. Maybe there's things that we still think about. I know I'm kept up at night sometimes. I'm like, why did I do that? Why did that happen? I hate that happened. That was a mistake that I made. I regret deeply. But we're so young to have so much regret on things that we did, on things that we can't change anymore. There's no changing it. What we can do is step back, acknowledge it, and forgive ourselves because of a mistake that I made. Because we're all human and we all make mistakes. And we all have to learn to forgive ourselves for these things, you know. It's a tough world out there, and if we really let every single mistake that we made guide us down a dark path, we're never going to reach our goals. And this whole presentation would have been worth nothing if I allowed myself to be plagued by things of that sort, you know. I think I would not be able to grow. And so this was a really hard step to do, because forgiving yourself doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen, you know, in a snap. It doesn't happen out of nowhere. You have to take time to heal, to comprehend, to acknowledge, to really try to make amends, and, you know, allowing yourself room for that mistake. I think what I ended up learning from this presentation was that none of these things really mattered. And that sounds really weird, because I probably just spent so much time talking about all of them to tell you that they didn't matter. What I learned was that before I did any of this, I should have acknowledged what a good person is to me. And when I had that interview with Mr. Hutch, he told me what he defined as a good person. And while there are crossovers of things, that ideas that we find alike in what we think is a good person, there are also differences. We all have an opinion. We all have an idea of what we think are good people and what we think are bad people. And what I defined as a good person is someone who's trustworthy, someone who's loyal, and someone who's reliable. And I hope that I am trustworthy, loyal, and reliable to the people around me. So, Maka, this presentation actually did help me learn a little bit more about myself and the life that I'm going to be leading. It has changed my perspective on a lot of things, and it has changed what I'm working for. So, yeah. This is the end of my presentation. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, or at least learned something, or felt, you know, related to. I may have not exactly taught anything, but I did learn something. So I think that was the point of this presentation. Thank you for listening. Good luck, class of 2023.
Well, thanks for interviewing me.
The final question is, do you think I should get an A on this?
Do you think, now you,
Do you think
now
Mr. McCaw should give me an A
know,
on this?
I need to see a rubric. I'm a teacher just like Mr. McCaw. We have rubrics.
Do you think I deserve an A?
I think that you have done an amazing job.
Wow.
But I have not read your paper, and I'm going to trust Mr. McCaw's judgment. He's been doing this a long time.
You're gonna flatter him.
But I think you deserve an A on the interview portion.
What?